I watched the sunrise lighting the sky, casting its shadows near. And on this morning, bright though it be, I feel those shadows near me. But you are always close to me, following all my ways. May I be always close to you, following all your ways, Lord.
My dear friends, this reading we took up in the monastery when I was ordained in Italy, in the ministry of receiving retreatants, for we made a little brochure to give to each one, and on it was at the top this very verse in Italian: "Come apart and rest a while." And indeed, the monastic setting in one of the most beautiful parts of Italy, Tuscany, the hills of Tuscany in the middle of nowhere, favoured healing on every level, and one could heal just by being exposed to nature uncontaminated. The Lord would do the rest if the soul opened up to the sound of silence and His sound therein, coupled with grace, for the soul healed is then able to receive. This verse is relevant to us. Look at your day, and this applies to each of us. We can be guilty ourselves of ruining our day and therefore our time, for time is but the sum of days. A day, and therefore time, spent in one flow of words coming into us and going out of us, artificial noise taking away from the sound of silence, is one thing. A day in order, a day in depth, is another. And if we look around, we observe that in the hemisphere in which we live, the vast majority are in the category of superficiality. Why? They cannot bear the other. They cannot be still. Now that's quite serious. Why? It is rendering our souls vulnerable. If we have not depth, interiority, we have no inner life. And the more we are exposed to the messages coming into us all the time, the more we are transformed by a process of long osmosis and erosion into what we are exposed to. We become like others. And the proof that that is the case on a massive scale right now is that the people who only one generation ago would have been repeating well what they knew to be truth are now repeating the accepted truth, that which the media especially are inviting us to believe. Therefore, it's not indifferent if we spend our time with these other voices or not. But there are other side effects. It is very difficult now to speak to people and to make them be still. Observe. Observe actually very close to you. in church. How short has the homily to be, and why? Observe how people are listening or not listening. How many will actually pick up the parish leaflet at that moment? How many will start looking at their watches? It is part and parcel of the culture of agitation in which we are, without knowing it, immersed and badly transformed. We are people unable now to enjoy the simple bliss of an open book with no noise. Very few can sit still with a book for any length of time. It has to be animated and noisy stuff on a screen. That, in one generation, has actually changed culture profoundly. And it is already starting at primary school level. Children cannot for long sit still. But there is more. Our recreation too has changed profoundly. We, in this simple celebration, are producing our own simple music with our own home-grown means. It is home-grown beauty. Now, young people are not able to appreciate beauty. Very few can sit quietly before actual masterpieces of music. Observe in the streets, even people jogging. They're not alone even there. They have their ears plugged in to what? And we presume that it's the kind of music, so-called, that they have. It is rap and very low quality music compared with only a generation ago. Now that's actually quite serious. People in a whole generation growing up not able to be elevated, not able to be in an atmosphere of something greater than noise. Because music also heals. Harmony is an echo of the eternal harmony from which we have come and has a profound effect on the soul. If it's not there, where does one find healing? Often in a crescendo of sensual experiences, therefore playing on the powers of the senses, looking for stronger impulses every time. And what happens? A spiral of ever new experiences, each one addictive by nature. Is it not the case? Come closer to home. When it comes to marriage, which is partly the reason why we are here, what happens there? It's transposed into a far more serious sphere. People come into marriage nowadays having gone around first, from one experience to another. And that gives a girl or even a boy a total lack of profound security, because this one too may just be number X in the series, because the mentality of try again is there. What is true marriage? To start off with, it cannot be there unless God is there. It cannot be there unless God is in the midst. Because one couple with Christ in the midst is quite different. It is then a cell, a domestic church, a tiny monastery where they are going to salvation together with the Lord guiding. It is also a safe nest where He can create new angels and implant them for eternal glory. It is a place also where, because He is in the midst, other presences will be spontaneously excluded. Bad television, pornographic internet, bad company, smoking, drinking, things which are in discontinuity with the life of grace. Is it true, yes or no, that one will tendentially make a happy marriage and the other, with its absence, not? People ask a monk often if their children, or adolescents especially, are you not missing out? Actually, one can honestly say from experience, from hearing people's private lives, and the priest hears a lot, marriage is not necessarily the happiest way to glory. It can be, but it cannot be. And a very high proportion of even officially good marriages are pretty dysfunctional. It's not always as it seems. And one reason is that people are seeking themselves. You have two individuals looking for gratification and fulfillment and using another for that. Marriage is quite different if it's to succeed. It is two individuals wanting to create the happiness of another. And for that to happen, there is a whole education made of little daily things. The word that is not allowed to come out of our lips, or if it has, is mended and healed. The little delicacy which might not be there, but if it is, makes all the difference. The care that there is not a single jab, a single wound. That is what making the happiness of another is. We think always of the other, always, and feel what that person is feeling and intuit what that person wants. The other, the disaster, is more frequent now than ever. Only this morning I had a young person on the phone. It is both her wedding anniversary and her birthday coming up this next week, and her husband has left her for the second time. During the course of this last week she had tried to commit suicide, but did not quite succeed, but is threatening it again if he does not come back for the wedding anniversary and the birthday. Two little children in the midst. And if this person has tried, the chances are that she'll try again and eventually succeed. And they have not been long married. We only have one chance in Christian marriage, and it's a hugely important choice. The vows taken are taken in the presence of God and His angels, and they contain this formula: to love and to cherish till death do us part. Love and cherish, death. They're big things. Life engagements. And when one looks on people around who come from disastrous marriage situations where they have concluded it was better to be alone than badly accompanied, they look back and they think sometimes, why didn't I not see before I accepted? Or sometimes before I asked, why could I not see? Many years ago, when I was a novice, I one day looked at the book of prayer requests which was in church. People could write prayer requests for us monk to pray for. And just by chance there were two entries, one more or less right on top of the other, on the same page. The first was this, and it was in France, therefore this is in French. Pour le cœur de Daniel que j'aime, for the heart of Daniel, whom I love. The second, a little bit beneath it, was this: afin que mon mari retrouve son sourire, that my husband may re-find his smile. The one was before, the other was long after. And often people in marriage look back at the days when they were fiancés, or when they were just a courting couple hoping to be fiancés. And yesterday seems so far away. How did we get to this point, where rather than talk, they prefer to have a third party, the goggle box, so as to abdicate in the effort? Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. How many have said this when we're in the second case? Afin que mon mari retrouve son sourire. So I'll just quote one or two lines from what I wrote when I saw this years ago as a novice in France. What thou dost weep for now, sweet unknown hand, wilt weep one day its granting. Youth, fair youth, thou'rt blind, and 'tis well so, for to withstand the pain of growing, miraged hope, not truth, needs this thy morphined soul. The flower is fair, the promise of the morrow, that today the full-grown fruit beside thee in despair laments, was once as bright as thine. But nay, thou'lt ne'er grow old, not thou. And so thought she, that feeds this night on this thy hoped next morn. The memory of dreams that ne'er would be, for night at whiles is brighter than full dawn. We are unwise in youth's fair yesterday, that smiled at us as though to say, what comes is what makes this thy saddest, happiest day, for that it is to come. And thus it hums our dancing eyelids to an hour's brief sleep beneath tomorrow's stars, that knowing weep.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy